Wormhill Church near Tideswell in Derbyshire is dedicated to St Margaret of Antioch, a dragon-killing or taming saint. The present church, with its helmet steeple, was built in 1863, but it replaces a 13th century one, which is described as a small rough structure constituting of nave, chancel, saddleback tower and south porch. To the south of the church is a broken shaft of an early cross, which the church history says was most probably there before the chapel was built. There was a lot of energy felt in the building. There is a carved standing stone in Wormhill. Draconis of Megalithic Portal reports the standing stone is located on private land, close to a renovated farm building, now a family home. I propose that the stone represents the Wurm or Serpent-Dragon, which was the form the pre-Christian inhabitants of Britain and Europe gave to the Creator Goddess, or Great Earth Mother. I think this stone represents the Dragon Mother with an infant dragon perched on her muzzle, emphasizing her motherly qualities. I have made a drawing to accompany the photo in order to help explain its meaning. The scenery of the area is described in Pigott & Co.'s Commercial Directory for Derbyshire in 1835. The River Wye runs in its vicinity through the most picturesque scenery, particularly that of Chee Dale in this chapelry. The rocks on both sides of the stream present a bold face of limestone and lava in alternate strata, which when viewed from the narrow dell appear by the uniformity of their indentations and projections to have been once united and rent asunder by some remarkable convulsion of nature. There seems to have been a dragon legend attached to Wormhill, associated with the nearby Not Low to the east, but the actual details of the story seem to be elusive, though the terraces on the hill are reputed to be the marks left by its coils, as in a number of other such places. It also somewhat resembles a dragon, and this is recognised locally, as there was a recent website where someone said they were walking on the back of the dragon. There's a similar rock at Dragonby in Lincolnshire, visited by Philip Heselton, first editor of the Lay Hunter, in 1991.
Called the Dragon Rock, in the village of Dragonby. I don't know that anyone necessarily knows very much about it, but it's also known as the Sunken Church. The idea being that this is just the tip of the top of the church that's been sunken to the ground, and apparently on certain occasions people singing. So it's got these elements of ritual significance, sounds heard, and also, of course, the name Dragon. So it's an interesting place. It's far more than you can just see here as we go up and see that there's one more of it. Quite sure exactly the sort of stone, but it's some sort of limestone. Rather similar to the stone that's rolled by. Similarity to water. Well, they would contain water, I think. I don't know. It sort of suggests that they might have been used in that way.
There are several leys passing through the church. One to Arbor Low stone circle to the south goes through a crossroads tracks near Peak Forest, and another north of Wormhill. Wormhill Church and its ancient churchyard cross, Monash Church, Arbor Low stone circle, a crossing point of a road with the course of a Roman road, and then Alec Low tumulus and trig point. The lay through Not Low Hill goes through a crossroads on a Roman road at Batham Gate, then Wormhill Church, Miller's Dale Church, then a settlement near Bakewell, and churches at West End and Ashover. There is also one going from the church to the Nine Ladies stone circle on Stanton Moor. This goes through the bull ring at Dove Holes, a tumulus and trig point at Bowl Hill, Wormhill Church, Stanton in Peak Church, the Nine Ladies stone circle, then a crossroads southeast of Matlock and the crossing point of a road and at the course of a Roman road at Pentrich.
The Nine Ladies stone circle on Stanton Moor. I found 3 leys going through it, detectable by dowsing. And this is one of them. This is another one. One due east of this. Where's the other? No, where's the other one that matches that door? Which? I've got to. I'm trying to find which matches which. Holding dowsing rods. King's Stone at Nine Ladies. There's a lay in the angle of Lean which goes towards Haddon Hall. There is no lay going from this stone to the stone circle, although it is about midway between 2 others. Haddon Hall lay. Something that looks rather like a henge monument, but is not named on the map. A little way south from Nine Ladies. And the tower is visible from here, although it's not from Nine Ladies.
There seems to be an entrance over there.
Someone's made a miniature version of the Nine Ladies here.
Another church in Derbyshire, containing depictions of dragons and also having leys to Arbor Low and the Nine Ladies circle, is the ancient chapel at Haddon Hall, near Bakewell. This fortified manor house stands high on a limestone bluff above the River Wye. The original chapel of St. Nicholas, now the south aisle, however, predated it and can be seen to be on a different orientation to the courtyards of which it is now a part. The rest of the chapel is now dedicated to St. Anne, who can be seen with her daughter, the Virgin Mary, in a window in the chancel, flanked by 2 windows containing images of St. Michael and St. George, both in the act of vanquishing dragons. The chapel has many restored wall paintings. Those in the south aisle mainly involve 5-petalled roses, very similar to that in the floor tile of Edward III's round table, found by Time Team in the site of that building under the Queen's ceremonial lawn at Windsor Castle. The chapel is powerful and is a lay centre, although the banqueting hall across the courtyards strangely seems more so. The lay to the Nine Ladies circle passes through both of these places. It comes south through a multi-junction at Great Hucklow, then Castle Hill, Bakewell. It then goes on to the Haddon Hall Chapel and the Nine Ladies Circle, before going through a cairn at Stanton Leys near the circle, a church at Wensley, a coincident stretch of road near Matlock, and another at Broadgates. The Arbor Low lay goes through a long coincident track near Wigginstall, then on to a cairn on Arbor Low. It then goes through the tumulus on Below and on to a mound clearly visible from the road opposite Haddon Hall, but not marked on the map. There is also a milestone by the roadside on this line. Finally, the line passes through the Haddon Hall Chapel, a crossroads at Beeley, and Castle Hill, Chesterfield.